Hey, who would have thought? Look at us.
Welcome to the Today Show. I'm your host, Carl Stefanovic.
Look, for the 100th show, we thought we'd had to do something a little bit outside of the box.
The 100th show, mate, and we completely forgot. Yeah, who would have thought? Well, we raised the bat. Who would have thought? 100 shows. We forgot to wear our cricket whites, unfortunately.
Other stuff's gotten in the way. That's what I've found, especially with this midweek racing going on, is you're just jam-packed for time, especially trying to, do the form for Saturday when the fields come out at about 2 p.m.
It might actually surprise the drifters a lot to know that this isn't our full-time job.
No way. No way.
That's some surprising news, some shocking news even for the drifters. We both have full-time jobs, and we managed to squeeze in being punting geniuses in between. Who would have thunk?
Who would have thought it? So I thought it would be a bit of fun, to kick off this 100th episode, to try and think back. And I should have pre-warned you with this. Some highlights and some lowlights.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Hit me.
So highlights for me, and this was just for self-interest here, was
tooting your own horn.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we're all about.
Yeah.
We're real put it out on the table and measure it type operators.
Yeah, toot.
Yeah.
When it's necessary. I thought my golden slipper this year was outstanding. My analysis of Fireburn basically called the race exactly how it unfolded, minus the whack she got several times throughout the race.
If anything, that made your prediction even more impressive, mate. Yeah, that's a big toot. Fireburn at huge odds in the slipper, like 12s maybe?
Yes.
And you were bullish, mate. You weren't like, oh, you know what, I'm going to chuck a roughie in because I'm pretty confident. You're like, nah, this thing wins the slipper.
Yeah.
There you go. Not only did she win the slipper, she won the size.
She did, and I thought she was a moral for the Triple Crown, but alas, she didn't quite get the job done. I was actually thinking back to this. I'm like, okay, sometimes we're big day performers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yep.
And we kind of had like the penthouse and the shit house. So Derby Day first year, I had an absolute fill up.
Yeah.
I think I got 3, maybe 4 winners on the card, and unfortunately you stunk it up. And roles were kind of reversed the next year anyway.
Yeah, that Derby Day was atrocious for me. I couldn't find a winner in Melbourne. I think I had maybe 2 seconds by a schnoz. That was my best result. And Randwick saved me that day, or Rose Hill rather. Saved me. Yeah, gee whiz.
That was a genuine fill up for everyone.
That was a fill up in Rose Hill. Bookies had no fucking idea what hit them. Tell you what, they looked up. They opened the gates at Rose Hill.
Oh my God.
Us boys walked in with snorkels and flippers on. It's a wet deck. And they were just like, oh, fuck, these boys have come prepared. And we have not. We had a full tub of lube as well. We're like, bend over, bookies. We're coming for you. But yeah, last year was a pretty good day for me for Derby Day.
Yeah, for sure. What about, I think, episode 1 of season 5, Zoo Gotcha was one of the great tips by you.
Oh, mate, bang at $26, and 2 runs later she wins a Group 1 fight stakes. You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, but I think possibly the best tip on this podcast to date. Sorry, Dolab, and shout out to him for joining us on the live stream. But it had to be your bro tipping Yonkers at $40. What the hell was going on there?
And he was right. He was like, what's a Chris Waller horse doing in this race? At 40s. Are you kidding? And his logic was infallible. He said, if it doesn't win, no one's going to bat an eye. It's $40. Who cares? But if it does win,
I look like a genius.
I'll look like an absolute genius. And alas, it won. And Yonkers went around today. He placed. He came second.
Yeah, he did. But, mate, 100 episodes, I didn't think we'd make it this far. I'm sure a lot of people hope we didn't make it this far. But, hey, look at us now.
Shout out to my haters.
Yeah, 100 not out, we might add. So.
Yeah, triple figures, mate. Yeah, it feels good. No, it's been a blast. It's been a lot of fun from the get-go. And it all started with one Dan Hutchin buying some kitter for a podcast. And was like, "Oi, mate, do you want to come over and record?" I haven't listened to our first podcast. Not since we released it.
Yeah. All I remember is, and I'm sure I haven't, but I might have like archived it. But you can't hear us because I didn't know what levels were. Look at us now. You can hear us loud and clear.
Man, we know levels better than Avicii now.
Yeah. Well, mate, look, so we started out in this very room.
We did, yeah.
Not knowing what levels were, but look at us now. We have the good people of Bareback Biltong just supporting us, giving it the official snack of the podcast. We have Gage Roads, the official beer and succulent alcohol of the podcast.
Succulent cider and ginger beer, yeah.
And of course, our core caps are sponsoring this podcast as well. But it would not be possible without the good people at Neds either.
Good people at Neds. That's an understatement, mate. I'd say they're great people at Neds, and it's a big weekend for them with the Caulfield Cup on the weekend. So yeah, huge weekend for Neds, and thanks for your support.
Agreed. Well said. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, but now we've got to make it a big one, a big daddy 100. Got to make the most of this poor bowling attack. So look, live stream on the weekend. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
When I wasn't stressing my balls off. But we eventually got it set up, and, you know, if you didn't know about it, it's probably because I only got it set up and working about 10 minutes before we actually went on air. So we did borrow the Australian Rugby marketing pigeons for that specific live stream, but you would know well in advance when it's going ahead now because I figured it all out. I think I know what I'm doing now.
Yeah, mate. The setup was unreal, and you'll probably notice that if you watch us on YouTube and if you're watching Reels later on during the week, that the angles are a little bit different because Hutch set it up for the live stream. And one, he was like, look, a CBF moving this back to where it actually is. And I was like, fair enough. But two, I thought this would be pretty cool to try from this sort of angle.
Yeah.
But no, the live stream was a lot of fun. Thanks to everyone who dropped in and said g'day, especially thanks to people who left comments.
Join the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So don't know when we'll do it again, maybe Manikato Stakes?
Yeah, I think we've got it penciled in for the Manikato that night because who doesn't love Friday night racing, firstly?
Bloody oath.
We have plans, you know, this weekend and next weekend. So, and the weekend after that, we're actually going to Derby Day. So it's probably the only race day that we could actually do it. Penciled in, not confirmed, but we'll let you know.
Yep, sounds good.
Lovely. Okay. Racing on the weekend, I think that's enough of us. Let's actually talk about the good horses, mate.
Yeah.
Let's start with the best horse in Australia, Anamoe.
My guy Mo, yeah. What a win, mate. That was a fantastic race. And I think, just stamps his authority as the rightful Cox Plate favourite, as I said. What were your thoughts on his run when he was coming around the corner, the Caulfield, the tight turning track?
I thought he had a rightful place at Sammy Seafoods down at the wharfs. He was grabbing around that corner, mate.
He did not enjoy that, did he? The big fella.
Well, he hadn't raced there for a year?
Yeah, since his Caulfield Guineas victory.
Yeah, so, you know, and I think he, apart from the the Cox Plate last year, he's probably been on his Sydney leg for each run since. So
yeah,
probably not a big surprise, but I think he'll take a lot of improvement. But if he's crabbing around Caulfield, does he crab around Moonee Valley?
Yeah, it's hard to say, mate. I think that's a genuine possibility. The fact, though, that he was able to rally, he lost a couple of lengths off him around that bend. The fact that he was able to rally and mow him down, he did not look comfortable.
No, he didn't.
Rating was through the roof.
Yeah, and I thought Zaki was brilliant out of the race.
He was great.
I think if he finds the fence and you get to pick your own barrier, they'll take marble number one.
I think they will, yeah.
Not many people will want to take it. So I reckon if they find the fence, he will be mighty hard to run down, Zaki.
Yeah, he's gonna come out of that even fitter. I'm just not too much. I'm not sure how much more is in the tank for Zaki. You know, what he did on the weekend is that the limit of his capability potentially.
I thought it was run short.
Potentially, yeah.
It's got 14 to 18 to 2000. Like,
yeah, so he'll be fourth up like Mo in the Cox Plate. For me, it's going to come down to position in running. It's going to come down to a bit of luck. Mo's not a moral in that race, but he's rightful favourite. God, I fucking love him. Man, I was so nervous when he came around that turn and he balanced up, ran him down. Oh, see, I couldn't be proud. I was probably prouder than James Cummings was, I reckon.
Oh, he had a tear in the eye. He was actually I think he was more emotional talking about Golden Mile.
Yeah.
He's like, I think that's just more thinking about like, fuck, that's 40 million in the bank now.
Yeah, that's
when he goes to stud.
That's millies in the back sky rocket for Golden Mile. Oh, for mine, if you change barriers between a few different horses, if you rerun that race a few times, I couldn't comfortably say Golden Mile wins even half the time. But he was ridden a peach by J-Mac, timed his run perfectly. I don't know if any other jockey in Australia, mate, could have won that race on Golden Mile. The vein of form he's in at the moment.
Oh, mate.
J-Mac.
He proved it again today. He rode Madame Pomeroy. Madame Pomeroy, an absolute peach, which I was pissed off about. She actually has form around Osipenko, who was fantastic in that Caulfield Guineas as well. I think he's a proper horse. I think he's favourite for the Spring Champion now too.
Yeah, I think he's the one you want to follow out of that.
Him in elliptical. I thought Barclay Square was very good too. Just as soon as he missed the jump, you knew you wouldn't no hope.
GG. Yeah, he's hopefully heading towards the Derby because I reckon he'll be a real shout in that. He's by Territories, who is a genuine staying type sire. So you'd think he'd get the trip. Yeah, rock hard fit, look out. Tuvalu won the Toorak. I wish I win. Got vetted just before the race. Oh, geez, alarm bells were sounding off in my head.
It was just not good to see. And I don't know. I don't really want to say it. I probably won't say it, but I just don't think I have as much confidence in that stable in grand finals. Like, they've had a lot of shorties go under in a lot of different races and in a lot of around that mile distance too. And I think what they were saying as well was, I think spacing his runs is where the sweet spot is. So even though he missed that Sir Rupert Clarke run, he ran the next week and he was cherry ripe at that Sandown race.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, full credit to Tuvalu, but Lindsay Smith, well done. Jared Fire, first Group 1.
Yeah, he said he's just as good, if not better, than the Scales of Justice. So he's a
handy horse.
Pretty handy horse.
Handy horse. Yeah, well, you know, if you want a grand final trainer, see Waller.
Yes. Now, we saw a horse today get scratched at the gates called Economics. And what I wanted to ask you was,
devastated.
If you could name your horses after anything, what would you name them after?
That's a question that I've actually thought a lot about.
Yeah. Please.
So for those who aren't aware, I'm a bit of a Pokemon fan. And we've probably spoken about Pokemon cards on this podcast at some point.
Yeah. I'd say so.
Let me just do some show and tell real quick.
Yeah, go on. Here he goes.
Didn't need to take the headphones off for that. could reach up. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm putting up a shiny Charizard card, which is fucking sick. And this is a Machamp. This is Hutcho's. This is a first edition Machamp from base set, which is hectic.
Yeah.
So these are a couple little mascots for the podcast. So I am a Pokemon fan. So if I had a stable, you know, and if I was punching out horses like the bloody Mashanis up here in Queensland, I had to think of a stack of names. I'd go Pokemon moves.
Okay.
So, like, for example, solar beam,
Yeah.
hydro pump,
Sand attack.
sand attack,
Splash.
yep, fire blast, tackle, scratch, razor leaf. I reckon they're great names.
They are.
And maybe the silks could be like red top, white bottom, black line in the middle like a pokeball.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. I reckon that's what I'd do.
Okay.
Hyper beam.
Hyper beam.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
I was actually thinking this after economics got scratched at the gates. I was like, gee, that could be a game time decision. I was like, fuck, that'd be a good name for a horse.
Game time.
Game time decision. So footy cliches.
Yeah.
1 week at a time. Yeah. Full credit to the boys.
Head over the footy. Yeah. Eyes up footy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Game of two halves.
6-goal breeze.
Yeah. Execute the game plan.
Yeah.
Match management, game management, 40-20.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. And you could go cross code. So all your New South Wales runners would be rugby league, and then all your Victorian runners would be AFL.
I love that. Free kick.
Yeah.
Ball.
Yeah. Stand.
Yeah. I love that.
I was actually thinking with economics as well.
Yeah.
Like school subjects. So
Yeah.
Legal studies.
Yep.
Maths B, physics.
Yeah. Chemistry. Economics we like. We both of us did economics in high school. We're in the same class, and we had a great teacher, Dave Fraser, who, shout out Dave Fraser, I'm sure you're a listener. One of the first things he ever said in our economics class in grade, 10 or something like that, was like, first thing you need to know about economics, never take a loan out on a depreciating asset, such as a car. Never take a loan out on a car unless you're a dickhead. Year 10 economics, like, okay, Dave. From that moment onwards, I was like, I like this guy. He was a good teacher.
He was. But I think he even said, he's like, now I've done that once or twice. And I'll probably do it again.
Put my hand up. I too am a dickhead. Shout out Dave Fraser. And yeah, economics, I really liked it today. And I was like, if it brains him here, it could be my Coolmore bet. But alas, that's probably not the case anymore. Such is horse racing.
It is. All right. 2 big features this weekend. And we're going to do a runner by runner preview just for you. So let's start with the Everest, I reckon. Now,
Let's do it.
the top weight, you might have heard of him. Nature Strip.
The champ.
The world's best sprinter. Drawn barrier 12. Now, looks like he's eased a little bit. I thought he was about $1.70 during the week, but he's $2.05 at the moment with the good people at Neds. I think barrier 12 is perfect.
I'd much rather have barrier 12 than barrier 1 for the champion Nature Strip, that's for sure. Oh, look at, I saw that come out, and I think I said the exact same thing for incentivising the Caulfield Cup last year when he drew the widest barrier. I was buoyed by the draw. Because that means you're going to get a better price, mate.
Yes.
He beats Eastfield.
I would have thought so.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, runner by runner. Anyway, yeah, Nate Strip, Jaws barrier 12.
Yep.
J-Mac on. Chris Waller, the trainer. He's come back in career best form from his English soiree. He comes across, and even if he settles 2 or 3 pairs back, doesn't matter anymore, mate.
No. I reckon he could even sit 3 wide outside the leaders. He's that good. I think so.
Yeah. Look, he's got the world's best jockey on. J-Mac, he's in a rich vein of form, just picking up Group 1s for fun. 71 Group 1s. He's 30.
Yeah. I think he had 20 more than what Damien Oliver had at the same age, and he missed 18 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he had a punt.
Yeah, don't punt, J-Mac. We need you.
Come on, J-Mac.
Zach Burton wants you in Hong Kong. Please stay.
How's that chat?
Yeah, he's an idiot for staying in.
Yeah. Well, if J-Mac compared his bank account to mine, he would see that mine has 6 to 7 times more in it. It's like, okay, Zach. Okay, mate.
Jack's just he's in a dick measuring contest at the moment. He's got his wallet out and he's like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, but the thing is Zach comparing this to when he was racing in Australia, or is this like current like dick swinging cash Australia?
Yeah. In case you haven't noticed, J-Mac is picking up winners for fun in races like the Everest, which are worth an absolute monster. But we digress. Nature Strip, obviously, he's a big chance.
I think he can win this.
I think he can too.
Well, run by a runner, you've got number 2, Eduardo.
Look, Eduardo for me, he's and we've always said this, we think he's a 1,000-metre horse. He's an old warrior. He'll be up and about in the lead. Look, I think he can, if he runs a peak race, he can finish top 3, but I'm not sure if he is going as well as what he was last year. But, he's an old warrior, Eduardo. He's just not one of mine.
Yeah, so first up, he beat a Thelric and handled the truth. Quite comfortably, I might add, and it was only over the 1,000 metres.
He was drifting that day. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah,
I think I got $4 for him.
Yeah,
Idiots.
That was silly. But Nash returns on him, which is only a positive.
Hot Nash. Hot Nash is hot.
He's very hot. But I thought I would have expected Eduardo to feature higher or better in the shorts last start. And every single time he goes up against Nature Strip, he gets crunched. The big players want to see him roll all over Nature Strip. Lost him running. Now, he is probably the next big guy on the block. He was sensational in the Premier Stakes, beating Marzu and Masked Crusader. Do you reckon he could win this?
If he improves on his last start and a horse like Nature Strip isn't at his best, he's in with a chance. Yeah. I know Brad's a big fan of Lost and Running. He's a good horse. I just think he's still a rung below NS, and until he proves otherwise, he will remain in that spot in my mind.
Ran a super race last year, finishing 4th, I believe.
Good horse, great strike rate, 1,200 metres, draws really well, just off the speed. $7, I'd say that's about the right price.
Yeah. Masked Crusader.
Masked Crusader for mine, he was brilliant in the last start, coming home like a freight train. He just needs everything to go right. If everything went right for him on the weekend, he's a chance of winning. But he's never going to be one of mine because, one in every 10 races it might go right for him. And even then, if everything does go right and he runs a peak figure, I still think NS's best puts him away. So he ran second in this race last year. Look, he'll be coming home. He'll be there or thereabouts.
Yeah. He 12-month stats, no wins, 7 runs, a second and a third. He's been racing against the elite, but $13. I think I would rather take the $13 for Masked Crusader over the $7 for Lost and Running. That's just me.
Fair enough.
Marzu, you're getting $17.
Marzu,
arguably, the best wet tracker in the field. Arguably, you could argue that. I think you'd probably argue it unsuccessfully because Nature Strip's probably the best wet tracker in the field. But look, he's the new hot kid on the block. He's a 4-year-old gelding.
Yep. Marzu, he's a tough horse. What you're going to get with Marzu? You're going to get a young fellow who's just going to try his hardest. Whilst Barrier 12 doesn't worry Nature Strip, I think it worries Marzu.
Yeah.
In this, I think you'll find his way to the midfield, but he wants to be up on pace, our boy Marzu. He's a great horse. He's a level below these for the moment. I think he'll be a lot better this time next year.
Yeah.
Marzu. Would love to see him run a big race because he's our boy.
Yeah, for sure. Private Eye.
Private Eye. Look, pace on. Who knows what can happen? He was brilliant resuming in the Group 2. Come back as a sprinter. The former ran Alligator Blood. He's elite. He's a rung below these. Look, I think he'll handle the heavy track, which is a tick. You're getting $14 to find out. Are you taking $14 about him or $12 about Masked Crusader? Who would you rather have? Because they're both going to be getting back and coming on.
Yeah, I think Masked Crusader, because he'll be behind Nature Strip out there. So he'll have a better horse taking him into the race. Whereas on the inside there, Private Eye could be going a shorter way home, but
would shock.
Too sure. Yeah.
Would shock.
Yeah. Overpass, this thing needs it dry and a leader bias, and he needs to jump and gun it from barrier 6. Probably one of the best drawn horses in the field, but he needs it dry. He doesn't go a yard on the wet deck, and I think we're going to be wet.
Yeah. Good to see Rachel King in this race, though. I know she does a lot of work for Bjorn Baker, so best of luck to her. But he's not good enough for this.
Ingratiating.
Ingratiating for mine, out of those 3, maybe 4 Godolphin horses that they were tossing up, Paul Ailey, Kementari, In Secret, and then Ingratiating, I'd say he's probably the 4th pick, arguably, which is crazy because we mentioned Kementari in there. Look, it's just tactics for Godolphin. They're looking at this race and they're like, realistically, are we going to win it? Probably not. Okay, let's chase Black Type with Paul Ailey. Let's chase Black Type with In Secret. Kementari. I would love to have seen Kementari in this field.
Well, he's a good wet tracker.
He's a good wet tracker, and he was a length away from Lost and Running.
Yes.
Last start in the Premier. But yeah, Ingratiating's again a rung below these. It would shock.
Yeah. Look, devil's advocate. He seems to be flying this prep, but it would surprise me. Joyful Fortune, the ex-Hong Kong galloper.
Half brother to Nature Strip.
Yes. Well, he's got some speed in those 6-year-old legs.
He sure does. Lightly raced.
Lightly raced, but he's come into this race winning a benchmark 70 at Flemington by 4 lengths. I think he needs to find some. He's never raced at listed level.
Strange decision for mine. Choosing him as your slot horse. I'd much rather have a throw at the stumps with a 3-year-old. But anyway.
So you have basically Masked Crusader, who's drawing wide with NS. So that's who he's going to be following home. Private Eye has drawn 3. Joyful Fortune's going to be the speed in the race on the rail. He's going to be following him home.
Oh, geez, there's going to be a lot of speed on in this race, isn't there?
Yeah.
And there's not a lot who can absorb that sort of pressure at this grade. We know of one, arguably 2 in this race who we know can do it. That's the top 2 old fellas, Nature Strip and Eduardo.
Yep.
Yeah, Joyful Fortune. He'll be leading or thereabouts for probably 800, 900 metres, and then he'll fade away.
Agreed.
The Everest is so quick; it's pretty much like a 1,300 or 1,400 metre race. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, look at Home Affairs last year; just absolutely boxed him up.
Yep, 100%. Shades of Rose. Couldn't believe that she got selected in this race for mine. Take nothing away from her prep so far; she's been brilliant. Culminating in a Group 2 win in the Shirako Stakes. That was the end of prep run for mine.
Yeah.
And then she's been picked for an Everest slot. Yeah, she's going to have a slight freshen up. 4 weeks, you can call it, nearly 5 weeks between runs. I couldn't believe that she was picked and boggled my mind. She's $41. She should be close to 100 for mine.
Yeah. Jacquino, $10. Look, I think if you want something with some different form lines that can run some quick time, this is your horse outside of Nature Strip. 53 kilos. We've seen a 3-year-old win the race before, but he needs it dry as well. He's not as affected on heavy going, which I think it will be. I think he's one of the more poorer drawn horses in the race as well.
I think so, unless he gets a run into the race and can dart on the inside. But yeah, for me, it's just the deck. We saw him on a dry deck. I didn't think he'd get that in the Golden Rose. I thought it'd be on a heavy that would have dulled his effectiveness, but I was really keen on him in that race, and the closing sectionals were unbelievable.
Yeah.
If this was a dry deck, I'd say you'd probably trim up into maybe even second favouritism behind Nature Strip. Maybe that sort of $7 mark that Lost and Running is. And I'd say if you want to try and find some value in the race, he'd be my pick. Yes, ran second in the Golden Rose to Bivouac, and we know how good he was.
Yeah.
And then came out and ran the track record in this race. Yeah. On a heavy deck would surprise, but yeah, he's a talent, that's for sure. I hope he goes to the Cornwall.
Yeah, agreed. And the other 3-year-old in the race is Giga Kick. So, his form is somewhat holding up, but it's nowhere near as black type as Jacquino's.
Only undefeated horse.
Yeah.
In the race, Giga Kick.
Yeah.
What a thrill for Clayton Douglas, but no way.
Full credit to you.
Full credit, but no way.
Yeah.
$21.
So, your trifecta, please.
Trifecta. I can't go past the champ. Nature Strip on top. For me, I think he's going to run a hell of a race, and he's going to go very close to Winx's fortune in total prize money. I think Lost and Running's going to run a really big race for mine, and he's probably if this is Nature Strip's last one, then he could be a logical favourite next year. Geez, I love our boy Marzu. He's just drawn so stickly, which makes it tough. Look, I'm going to chuck Jacquino in. I think out of the swoopers, I think I want Jacquino. Yeah, so that's my trifecta.
Yeah, Nature Strip on top for me. Mars Crusader, same Quinella as last year, and I'm putting the Marzu in there because he's 17. He's $17.
And he's our boy. Go well.
All right. Now, the other feature on the day is the Caulfield Cup. Now, the barrier draw has just been ended. So we can go through this runner by runner. Gold Trip, 57.5 kilos. Mark Zara, barrier 12. This horse is one from how many? 13. Before I bet on this horse, I need to see him win again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he can't beat home Smoking Romans based on like the weight swing for this race.
What are we going to get, you reckon, at Caulfield on Saturday?
Well, there's 50 mils forecast for Thursday or Friday, so I think it's going to be heavy.
Right, okay.
Yep.
Gold Trip for mine, if he was, if he won the Turnbull, you'd say, oh, geez, top weight in the Caulfield Cup, he'll go close. But not only did he not win the Turnbull, he's given a stack of weight to those that finished ahead of him. So they were tossing up between this and the Cox Plate. Yeah, would shock. Barrier 12 isn't too bad of a barrier, I'd think. With emergencies out, he'll draw probably midfield, find his way in midfield with some cover, but nah, not here. Yep. Jewess, jeez. Caught a bit flat-footed when they started sprinting in the Turnbull. She was my on-top selection there. She was my on-top selection when she resumed in the Memsey as well. And she flashed home there. I thought she was looking up for a very promising prep. Draw super, I think. I love barrier 9 for Jewess in this. She'll come in slightly with the emergencies out. I think she'll kick up and be just about midfield. What she wants is a high-pressure race where there's pace on up front. When you're getting a big field like this and you're getting some pace on up front, you generally see that in the Caulfield Cup. She's going to come right into this race. She's in it up to her eyeballs.
Hooves. Now, Knight's Order. I think this horse has a sensational chance of winning this race.
Yeah, right.
It's been super this prep. Has form around Benno, Allegron, Numerian. Like, if he goes to that Metropolitan, I think he puts 3 lengths on him. I think he's that good. He's that consistent, and he's a duck. Eats it up.
He's a duck, and you know where he's going to be in the running, mate.
100%.
He's going to give himself every chance. I'm tough. I'm out the front. Catch me if you can, motherfuckers.
Yeah, barrier 18 is sticky.
It is, yeah.
So if he gets posted 4 or 5 wide, then, so be it. But, if he can, Timmy Clark can somehow just whirl around him and eventually get the fence. We've seen with these staying races, they are not running any time.
No, they're not. And TC on board, he's a master at it. If he can find a spot in the sort of, front 4, top 4 maybe?
Yep.
From that barrier, he's certainly going to get the distance, that's for sure. Montefilia, she was really disappointing last start, but just didn't handle the track, according to master trainer David Payne, which is interesting. I don't know what to do with her. She was super in this race last year, running 4th, I believe. Mm-hmm. Was she going better this time last year? I'm not sure. She's a tricky one for me, Montefilia, plus heavy deck on the weekend. She didn't handle it the other week. Who's to say she's going to handle it at Caulfield on Saturday? So, yeah, look, it wouldn't surprise me. It would shock me if she won.
Yeah, agreed. Numerian. Now, this is another horse with some virtually the Knights Order form lines.
Yeah.
But I believe Knights Order has beat him home this prep. So same weight as Knights Order as well, but this horse should race on speed. Better barrier draw here. Barrier 10 should, as you said, with emergencies, come in a bit as well. Should race on speed. Gets through the heavy going. This has been his target all prep. I think he is definitely a winning chance.
Vow and Declare. Geez, he's come back a different horse, hasn't he?
You've missed Nonconformist.
Oh, I've missed Nonconformist. My bad. And that is bad because speaking of winning chances, you'd think this guy is.
Yeah.
Nonconformist. He was great coming home last start in the Might and Power. 2 lengths off the best weight for age horses in the country.
Yeah.
Drops to 53.5 kilos. Froggy Newitt on board. Not Froggy Newitt, my bad. Jordan Childs on board, 54.5 kilos. Draws pretty well, I think. He'll probably land in the first third. He finished second in this race last year to incentivise. Yeah, he's a key chance.
Yeah, for sure. And, he's proven on the quick backup. So, yeah, as you were saying, Vow and Declare needs to run top 8 in this race to actually qualify for the Melbourne Cup.
I think he will.
Yeah, but he's flying. Only query is potentially, is he better on top of the ground? Not entirely sure. But I think he's flying. Blake Shin is in cracking form.
Jeez, he's a good jockey, isn't he?
He is. We're lucky to have him. I think Vow and Declare is a top 5 chance.
Yeah. No compromise, just coming off, obviously, a great run in the Metropolitan with a win there. Is that the right form to come to this race and win it? Most years, you'd argue no.
Yep.
This is a pretty weak edition of the Caulfield Cup for mine, so I think he'll run a bold race, but no, I don't think he'll win.
Yeah, he's a duck too.
He's a duck.
Allegron. I was considering him in the what was it? The Turnbull. Was it the Turnbull?
Yep.
A couple of weeks ago. Then they scratched. I'm actually unsure why they scratched. But this guy is an absolute stayer as well. He got absolutely poleaxed in the Derby last year, and he kept running straight through the line. The stablemate ran straight through him early in the race, and he's still stuck on.
Did he finish second or third in the Victoria Derby, Allegron?
Yeah.
Second?
Yep.
Behind Hitotsu, who we know is a freak. Yeah. And then he's, in the Australian Derby, he's finished, second or third again, behind Hitotsu, who we know is a freak. So, yeah, I think Allegron, Ethan Brown takes the ride. He's been riding really well, 53 kilos on board. Barrier 14 isn't too bad, I don't think, for him. He'll get the distance. I think he's definitely a sort of top 5 chance.
Yeah, for sure.
Benno. Richie's been a bit of an enigma for me this prep. He's going to be my Metropolitan horse, Benno. And I've probably said it 1,000 times already on the podcast, but I'll say it again. Johnny O'Shea, why are you drugging my boys? Buy a reliable man, Benno. Be more reliable, Johnny. I reckon he's the best named horse in Australia. My guy, Benno. He's drawing the car park. He's drawing Flemington.
That's what he does.
Barrier 20. Look, he'll go back anyway, so I don't think that's too much of an issue. He drops to 53 kegs. He was brilliant finishing off in the Turnbull as well. He's a winning chance for mine, Benno.
Yeah. Great House. I think this horse is finally drawn a gate. He doesn't draw a gate that often. And I think he's actually flying as well. He's flying under the radar. His form doesn't look that great. Is Macram and finishing 10th in a Turnbull the right form. I don't think he's had the right crack at it. And I think he ran pretty well in the race last year and then went into the Hotham and won that a couple of weeks later. So I think he's a winning chance.
Yep. Inspirational Girl, interesting one. I thought she was disappointing in the Turnbull for mine. She resumed in the fan where Mr. Brightside brained them. This has been the target or prep from what I understand. Those Silks haven't had a great spring. Oh, look, I couldn't have her here personally. But, she's a bit of a knockout chance.
I thought she finished off quite well in the Turnbull. She was probably one that finished way back in the field to actually gain some ground on that leading pack. So, I don't know. I'm happy to risk her, especially Barrier 1. Where's she going to get?
Yep.
Maximal. Now,
Interesting horse, this one.
I think he needs it dry. What do you think?
I think he does too, Maximal. Benny Mellum did a bit of track work with him this week, and they interviewed him on racing.com, and he said, this horse is better on a dry deck. If that's not what he's getting, then geez, it's hard. But, he's well weighted. I get the distance. He's only won once from 15 starts. It's a bit of a worry. Still got his nuts, but anything could happen. Great silks.
Sound. This horse is just never, ever going to retire. 10-year-old.
No, he's still going.
He is.
50 starts. This will be his 51st.
1.8 million in the bank.
The Caulfield Cup.
Bang.
Yep, he'll get around the track, and he's still got his nuts sound.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
What we need. He'll be a champion sire, guarantee it.
Yeah, the next Seamus Award. No, yeah, sound. Look, it would shock you.
Yeah. Chipata.
Yeah, again, it would shock. Real making up the numbers type vibe.
I could see him running a race. I feel like Caulfield's his track. 2,400 is his distance. Lightweight. Barrier 11 is nice. But yeah, that strike rate is just one of the most horrific things in racing.
It sure is. Crystal Pegasus, the darling of the podcast. Bloody last season, he either finished first or second. He was the safest best bet you could bloody pick.
Yeah,
he was flying.
Him one week and Marzu the other week.
Yeah, we were flying. How times have changed. How the mighty have fallen.
Yes.
Look, he was in the Turnbull. He finished close to last. In the Naturalism, he finished close to last. He's not going super well. This prep, it would shock.
Agreed. Smoking Romans. Now, if you had told me a month ago that this horse would be the favourite, I would have called you insane.
Oh, mate, I can't believe the rise that he's had.
51 and a half,
51 and a
barrier 5.
half. Keg is drawn perfectly. Will go forward. J. Carr on board, softest hands in Australia. Won the Turnbull, drops 4 kilos from that. Was a bit underdone apparently. Will peak over further. Geez, what's the query on him?
I
can handle a soft deck. Can handle a heavy deck.
Yeah, I'm just refusing.
I would not be surprised if if Jamie Carr has her hands on the Caulfield Cup this weekend. But yeah, for me, I can't do it. You'll have every chance. I would not be surprised, but definitely top 3 hope. Probably deserves to be favourite, but yeah, I can't.
Agreed. Charlie Rose.
Remember she was flying about this time last year, leading into a Melbourne Cup, maybe last autumn. I can't remember. She ran a Melbourne Cup. She ran 9th.
Yeah, and she won the Geelong Cup to get into the race. So
yeah. Oh, look, Dean Yendall on board. Good on her.
Look, it's not a vintage edition. Let's put it that way.
No, look, it would be great for Simon Wilde. So, knockout chance.
Agreed. So, Caulfield Cup numbers. Where are we landing?
Well, mate, I've been on her multiple times this prep, and I'm not going to jump off now. Jewess for me. If there's pace on in this race, if she can sit about midfield with some cover, if they're going slow and if it's a sit and sprint, no. She's come back so dour this prep. This has been the target all along. She'll handle a softer deck. I don't think she wants it too heavy. But she's a genuine stayer, Jewess. Her best wins this for mine. Really happy with where she'll land in the running. I think Jewess on top for me. Yeah, look, clear next 2 selections for me are Beto and Smoking Romans. Out of Benno and non-conformist, I just prefer Benno because he's a grey and he's the best named horse in Australia. It's as simple as that. He'll get back, he'll be running on, and Smoking Romans is the logical horse. So they're my numbers, but Jewess on top for me. Go girl.
Go girl. Numerian on top for me.
Yep, okay.
Been the target all prep. Annabelle Neesham is a freak. Tommy Berry in the saddle.
He doesn't have an Everest ride.
No, he doesn't. So I think he can win this race. He knocked off Zaki in Queensland last prep. Or did he? Maybe he knocked off the other one. Anyway, he won the Q22.
You won the Q22.
He's super. He's been super this prep. I think he's peaking third up here. I think he's run the game. It was honestly what came down to it for me between these two horses was the barrier. And I'm not usually a barrier guy. But Knight's Order is my second pick. I think he's going to run a super race on speed. I can't see them running pace here, even though
I'm praying for it.
Yeah, it's like, we've seen so many of them time and time again. I'm convinced that something at double figure odds is going to win this race.
Yeah.
And that's why I've left out Smokin' as well.
Fuck him.
Probably to my detriment, and I think Allegron is an up-and-coming stayer as well. Ethan Brown riding for Godolphin, which you love to see.
Yeah. What I like about Jewess as well now is the price that you're going to get about her.
Yeah.
She was open favourite for this race in the market, and, if she won the Turnbull or came home really strongly, she probably would have started like a $6 or $7 horse in this. She's probably going to be about $11 with Neds. I don't think the prices are fully established. 13s with Neds.
Yep. Which
I'm happy with that.
I believe so. We'll text each other before the Turnbull, and you're like, mate, I have a feeling about Jules today. I think she's going to put them away. I was like, mate, didn't. see how she goes. And she did. And I was like, look, mate, look at the positives. You're going to get $13 for her in the Caulfield Cup.
And alas, she's $13. No, which is a price I'm happy with. It's a bit of a disappointing addition. I think if Incentivize was going round and if he was carrying 60 kegs in this race, he'd win.
Yeah, it'd be $1.40.
Yeah, which
$1.50.
I miss you, boy.
Goodbye, my lover.
Goodbye, my friend.
Best bets time. All right. I'll kick it off, eh?
Yep, go for it, mate.
Caulfield, race 6. Now, this was close to my best of the day. Number 11, a very fine red. Now, I'm seeing some good little form lines here. Last prep, ran second behind Zapateo, who failed on the weekend, but she's a very classy mare. And if you go back and watch this mare's run at Rose Hill, it was sensational going through the field. Not many have wet form in this race. She does. Blinkers are back on. She can win this.
Mate, there you go. Look, a bet I don't mind. Race 8 in Caulfield. Queensland form. Pelisipan.
Yes.
Got form around Shades of Rose, who's in the bloody Everest. Got form around Nimalee. That's good form for this. Look, happy to take on Chain of Lightning, the Peter Moody trained horse after what we saw today. Timmy Clark from Barrier 1, roller forward. I reckon she's a good bet at that price, $5.50 with Neds.
Yeah, agreed. Go back to race 7. Number 7. Wait. No. I've messed that up. Apologies. Where is he? Number 6, sorry. Race 7, number 6, Express Pass. Nick Ryan places this horse extremely well. Has form around Big Zach de Boss, one of the biggest horses I've ever seen on a racetrack. He's enormous.
He is big.
He's so big.
He's big.
But
big boy.
His wet form does stack up. He's around September last year, he beat Bella Nipotina by 2 lengths on a soft deck. I feel like that's good enough to feature here, and you're getting a double figure price to find out. Barrier 5, yes please.
Yeah, lovely. That's pretty much all I've got
right.
in Caulfield, man. It's a tough day.
Yes, it is. I have one more at Caulfield. Go to the last. All right. She's finally here, and if this salutes, I might retire. Race 10, number 7, open-minded. You're getting an enormous price. You're getting $34 here. There's next to nothing with heavy form in this race, and this guy, if I called her a girl, I apologise. This guy is absolutely... I think he's not flying. He's definitely not flying.
He's not low flying.
He's not.
He's high flying.
But the Freedmans did say that they were gutted that he didn't get a run in the Rupert Clark. So that says to me that they have a lot of confidence in the horse. Forget last start. You're just getting a better price here. Pulled up lame. Before that, he finished third behind I Wish I Win. Easier company here. I think he can feature at $34. He can run a sneaky race.
Yeah, lovely. Sydney?
I have my best bet and my best bet only.
Okay. Well, in Sydney, race 4, the St. Ledger, not one of mine. But gee, I thought Stockman was pretty good in the Metropolitan.
I was disappointed.
Well, you were on it.
I was.
Goes out over further here. A lap up the deck. Draws really well. Stockman, I think he's a pretty good bet. $4.20 with Neds in that race. It's not my best of the day, though. Look, Kosciuszko, this girl is a bit of one of those horses that most of the time you're going to get a race, and by halfway through the race, you'll know pretty well whether it's going to happen or not, because, if she's too far back, she's too far back. But I think It's Me is a great shout in the Kosciuszko, $4.80 with Neds. There's a couple other things, but, mate, what's your best of the day?
My best of the day. Now, it's unfortunate because we can't see this form franked through the Cox Plate. I was fascinated to see how Top Ranked would run. But Ellsberg, the Epsom winner, what's he done wrong?
He's done nothing wrong.
Why is he $3?
I couldn't tell you.
The only horse that spooks me a little bit is our Playboy. That horse only knows how to run on wet tracks. And Price Jr. are absolutely flying. Ellsberg has to be the bet in the race.
He's low flying. Just before my best bet of the day, Sydney Stakes. This guy was going to be running in a bloody Everest. Do you jump in on Kementari at $4.40?
When I was saying to you, I'm considering putting one on top as my best of the day. That was special game.
Oh, I tell you what,
he's pretty well placed.
He's pretty well placed in this. He doesn't mind a heavy deck. Hot Nash goes on.
I was the only horse that was spooking me, who's had the ultimate gear change. That's Remark.
That's a great shout as well. Yeah, he has had the ultimate gear change. It's been the making of him. Costs a fair bit of cash, so they're trying to recoup that.
Yeah, and I did see Forbidden Love is she's an absolute duck too. So it's that's what made me shoulder arms with that race. It started getting a little bit too difficult.
Jeez, hasn't she had a bit of a change of fortune, Forbidden Love?
She has.
After the ornament, we know she'll get through the going. Trying to make her a sprinter, evidently. Oh, I guess she's always been a bit of a sprinter, but anyway. My best of the day, the champ goes back to back. I just can't see Nature Strip losing this, mate. Nature Strip, he's out to $2.15 now with Neds. Geez, if he gets close to $2.50, if I had a mortgage, I'd be putting it on responsibly. Might come back from Sydney after watching the Everest live with just my right nut, because I might sell my left one to put it on Nature Strip.
So I'm just looking at the odds, right, for this race. Who are they coming for? Shock me, Eduardo.
They come for Eduardo?
Every single bloody time.
Interesting. But yeah, Nature Strip, best of the day for me. Can't wait to be trackside, mate. It's going to be brill.
Yes, you are trackside. That's exciting for you. I'm excited for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, hopefully it's dry. Apparently Saturday is going to be a brilliant day, but it's just the week leading in.
I think it's just the 12 months of rain they've had.
Yeah, I think it's the record rainfall they've had with still 12 weeks to go left in the year.
Honestly. Well, I know we provide track updates every now and then on the Instagram, right? But we never give our 2 cents for a location that we don't live in. How would we know?
Do you know what's funny? Oh, when you open up your weather app on your iPhone, mine always has either Melbourne or Sydney.
Agreed.
Never has Brisbane, where I actually live. What's the weather going to be doing in Brisbane today? I've got no clue.
Stick my bloody head out the window and have a look.
I don't care what it's doing in Brisbane. I'll walk to work in snow.
Yes.
And not even care. As long as I know what the track's going to be playing like on the weekend.
Well said.
Down south.
Well said. Oh, God, there was some meteorologists hanging around on Twitter on the weekend. Jesus, they were like, oh, my God, Caulfield's definitely going to be a heavy, guys. It's going to be a heavy. Wasn't a soft fight by the end of the day?
Idiots.
Come on.
Idiots.
I think that's about it. This was a bit longer, obviously, because of the runner by runner, which is brilliant for me editing this. But, we live and we learn. But
Get that on the big jobs.
we do. Tipping comp will be back this weekend. We'll be playing at Caulfield, obviously, and we'll include the Everest as a bonus. Potentially Kosciuszko as well. That we should get a fair few different choices there. But yeah, you can win some bareback biltong, some Gage Roads Brewing products, this cord cap, which is sensational, and of course, some Neds merch as well.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Great day of racing on Saturday. Coming.
Agreed. All the best.
Happy 100, Hutch. Raise the bat.
And to you. Hooroo.
Bye.